And we are joined now by comic creators and filmmakers Scott Meaney and Chris Laudando. Now, just when you speak, make sure you lean in nice and close.
Okay.
So what's going on, fellas? How are we?
Pretty tired, but we're here. We're happy. They're having us.
Yeah, why are you guys exhausted?
Well, we started the book.
Okay.
Because I was killing for me. The artwork started from Sketchland right now. So it's like in a different place.
Right. Okay. That's Scott speaking, by the way.
Yes.
Chris, say hello. This is Chris.
What's going on?
There we go. So now you can differentiate between the two. So now we've had your graphic novel Constellation Park here at the shop. How long ago did that come out?
That first book was 2 years ago. Me
2
and
years
Scott
ago.
were talking about that when we were here, like almost come out because it's been a blur the past couple of years. The second book came out last. Second book came out last summer. And
made a movie in between.
That.
With puppets.
Is it a Constellation Park movie?
No,
I don't know.
Okay.
No, it is not. we could never hold the puppets and
So tell us a little bit about Constellation Park. If when you're explaining what it's about, what do you tell people?
Okay, well, it's a very well. First off,
well, I think the easiest, the quickest way just is to set the genre up, and then you can go into it, which is Back to the Future meets Goonies and Star Wars. That's basically
Back to the Future,
kind of, yeah.
Well, like you just sort of mish that together, and you sort of get this weird sort of inspirational tale of like people sort of finding themselves in strange lands, and like lots of like little objects or like like Goonies type stuff and gadgets, and so I've always grown up into that.
You can definitely see what we were inspired by. Like Amazing Stories was a very big show. Like, which continues to be an inspiration to us. It's weird how, like 25 years later, how film or any pop culture can still have an influence on everything, the friends you make, everything. So that comes out when you're creating something. With Constellation Park, it's a very odd story, but just to basically give you the gist of it. We wanted
Don't hold back, Chris.
Yeah, no, I'm not, because the best way is just to dive right in. Basically, we wanted to create a story where the main character suffered from some kind of, we thought it would be like mental illness, couldn't differentiate truth from fiction, which, that's something you hear all the time.
So babyface character.
And we came up with this weird story where this guy, it starts off where he's in like a hospital getting an MRI, and he is telling the doctor, listen, I've been seeing like these weird episodes, I don't know, hallucinating or what's going on. The doctor's like, this is like the third time you've been here, there's nothing wrong with it. So it turns out the memories that this guy has is actually events that happened to him, but in another world.
Okay.
And not to give too many things away, but when he came to this world, he reversed the aging process, where he landed in our world as a baby. So as he grows, these things that he sees are actually his memory. So then we bring both that world and this world together.
That's pretty much
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah,
it's really
cool.
A lot of it is all set in like New York City, so like we played a lot of like the landmark games, so like played because like a lot of the movies we grew up on, like we were saying, are those like sort of 80s fantasy, Back to the Future type movies where they actually use the cities really well.
Yeah.
And, so what we really wanted to do was sort of, I guess, make a not your normal superhero book, not your normal science fiction book. It's just sort of a book that's a little bit more for everybody. It's also very geared towards people who are film. It moves a lot more like a movie than it does like a comic book. Because I went to design school. I'm a graphic designer as well as an illustrating artist and a writer. And the idea was also sort of getting the comics to move a little bit differently than other books. Like almost feel the fades, feel things sort of.
Like, well, me and Scott went to high school here. We were at the top of high school. Scott's a year older than me. So during our lunch hour, we would spend it in the library and just talk about pop culture at the time, which was like the early 90s. Yeah, it was just great. So we have that connection. And how did we come up with it?
Well,
We
what-
had a train or something.
Well, what happened was, I've known Chris since junior high school, sophomore year high
Early,
school.
like 1990.
Whatever it may be.
92.
And I was actually finishing up. I gotten out of design school eventually, finally, and was looking for work. And everything went digital at that point. You know, here I am. I'm a hand illustrator, I'm a hand designer, and I do this book called The Generated Man, which is the most evil 85 pages ever written by somebody. It just was too disturbing for me to put out in the world. Chris hits me on Facebook. We just became Facebook friends or something, and it was just like, oh, I've never actually done a book. I've always wanted to do something with like graphic novels or whatever. And I was just like, oh, let's do it. And the next day we just rolled off, started doing Constellation Park, and wrote a really bizarre story.
So how long did it take you guys to finish
That,
that?
that first book took a year.
Took a year,
It took a year to do, and it's roughly about 85 pages.
85 pages. And that's it. But that's a year for everything. That's literally pre-production writing. That's literally me illustrating it. And then that's even the design of the book, and then going to press and coming out. We literally did the 85-page book, just the two of us in under a year.
And not in person. We did it through like iChat.
That's awesome.
Yeah, talking about back and forth. How at the time my wife was pregnant with our daughter, and so it was difficult to like leave the house or whatever, just in case I had to run the house.
So like it would be like 8 o'clock. Oh, okay, let's get let's
We get like a half hour.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever.
So when we were doing the second book, actually, literally we were like.
It's very fast.
I actually started drawing. I don't usually do this, but I actually started drawing the book before we finished the script, which I'm very sort of, super superstitious about. But like literally, it was coming to the point. Like I think towards the last book, we were literally like having meetings as I was like halfway through the first book, and we were actually writing. It's actually like we have a new series actually that we're coming out with now, which is sort of like an anthology series, which is all different stories, different week, different characters, whatever it may be, and. It's just really funny to go to something like that and something like Constellation Park, which was just like so huge and
What's the name of the project?
Wish.
W-I-S-H.
Okay.
Really Wish Box.
Yeah.
I didn't like the word box.
I was like,
it's just like
come on.
it's that joke that everyone's gonna go to.
Yeah.
Just
But
throw
they
it
also say,
inside.
oh, wish we never fucking wrote this book.
Yeah, I know.
Say that too.
You gotta be a little bit more creative as opposed to it's not like that's what she said type of a joke. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Are you guys self-publishing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we did was I explored the option of actually going to real, comic book distributors. So I asked Walter Flanagan from Comic Book Nuts. He would say, help myself pick that name up that we dropped. I asked his advice, and I said, Walter, never did this before. Know nothing about how to publish stuff. What do you do? Because he had published some things with Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
He did Batman. I think he did what else did he do? We did.
He did a zombie book.
Yeah.
War of the Undead.
War of the Undead. Brian Johnson.
Cryptozoic Man.
Cryptozoic Man, which I got.
Yeah.
Shouldn't tell anybody that. I got it. That's copy.
You're allowed.
So I asked him, like, what's the process? What do you do? And he's like, oh, and it's the same thing that everybody said. Send a manuscript of the story and sit down. I have no patience.
Yeah.
When I want to create something, get it out there
Now.
It needs to be done now.
Waiting 7 months for approval is not on anybody's list.
It's just.
Because like when we started, we hit the ground running. We literally, he was like, let's make a book, and within a week, we started the book.
That's how I am. I have those organizational skills. I guess because that's people work professionally. I have organizational skills. If I want to get something done, I got to get it done. Because I don't like talking about something, get people hyped up, and it doesn't happen.
Oh, you should try to shoot a movie with this guy.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that. But got Walt's advice, a couple other people, didn't take it. I was like, no, let's just do it ourselves. And
Which has been good to us.
it was good. Well, what helped a lot is also those viewers who guys.
You guys really like embraced it.
They did, and the reason why we're here is because of them. Because a friend of mine, Brian Quinn, who you may know from the Practical Jokers, True TV. He's on Tell 'em Steve Day podcast, and when I had this book, I know Brian's a really big comic book guy, so needed an opinion. I gave it my friend Sal, Laudando. I gave him a copy because I couldn't read it. I was like, okay, Sal, give this book to Twin CD. A couple days later, I get a text saying that, oh yeah, it's going to be mentioned on Steve Dave, and Wolf Lang wants you to have copies sold at the stand. I'm like, oh, okay, like, that's amazing. And from there, it just grew to people buying the book all over the country, all over the world, all to New Zealand, to Australia, Vietnam, Scotland, England, whatever. And,
Zambia?
yeah, Algeria. So it's been good to us. So they've been good to us, and all by us just doing it ourselves.
Yeah. That's the one thing is that it has always been 100% artisan operated. Like it's been what we wanted 100% the way.
But Amazon takes a huge chunk.
They do take a huge chunk. That's why if you do come to see us, because we do a bunch of conventions, we do Connecticut Comic Con, we just finished Connecticut.
We're doing Asbury Park in April.
We're doing Asbury again, and we do Asbury, so like the first convention we did in the world was kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you come down to see us, we always sell them cheaper.
Very much.
Much cheaper.
And you get them signed.
And you get them signed so that but
Well, I think we have signed copies here.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah, there you go. Value. So now, what's the film you guys shot?
Okay, so again with the whole USD world,
the smile goes up Chris's face.
yeah, it's, yeah. So Walt Flanagan again, the Tell 'em Steve Dave crew, they had this idea of touring their podcast, which they have, which Kevin Smith, as you know, tours their stuff. Walt Flanagan is afraid to fly. And if you remember the Brody character in Mallrats, that character is based off of Walt Flanagan. Everything. There's a scene I believe in Mallrats when he talks about this crazy flight scene where everybody's about to crash. I think if I'm not 100% sure that is one of the reasons why Walt Flanagan won't fly, because he got to a really bad experience. Of course, Kevin Smith. I could be totally wrong, but I know that he had an experience on a plane, and
Just may not have been that
may have not been that. So they don't. So Brian Quinn and Brian Johnson will tour the podcast. Like they'll go to California and without Walt, because he's deaf. And he also has stage fright. So the idea was, when Walt came, he wants to, what if we do a live show with puppets? And I thought that was fucking hysterical and crazy. So he had said on the end,
It's like my dream come true.
I was like, what's this thing? And like puppets became like the thing. And he's like, if anybody out there can make us puppets, the puppets, hold the store. And I immediately pulsed down like this.
Because I'm known as the guy who could pretty much, you just say, can you do this?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
And Scott always gives me shit because when I tell him Steve Dave and all these things, they always mention my name.
It's true.
So like, I'll have people come up to me like, you're that guy who's scared of shit of ghosts. Like when I just walk in here, your cameraman says, you're the guy from Tell 'em Steve Dave who's afraid of ghosts. If anybody heard that episode. My crew. Anyway.
He is very scared.
No, I was the cop.
So I was like, I called Scott. I was like, dude, we gotta make this public, right? This is a giveaway.
You're in, boy.
Make this wall flying puppet. Once puppet, make the puppet.
And it's just pretty much like, can you make a puppet? I was like, I don't see why I couldn't
But
make a puppet.
Why don't you would think? Like you would be like, yeah, man, I'm on it. He'd be like, well, what does he look like? It's like the Google machine doesn't work in your house. It's like it's Walt Flanagan, man, do it. So he made the puppet. We sent it to Walt. They wound up using it in a live show. And Jason Hughes wanted a puppet, and they contacted me, and we gave Scott made the puppet. Scott made the puppet. And Jason Hughes tweeted me saying thank you for the awesome puppet.
On the pitch,
But anyway, having conversations with puppets, Mike Zapps from Comic Book Men, who also works for the store, so he's that. We were going back and forth with these crazy ideas about puppet movies or whatever, and we were going to do a film like where it's like puppets with the news, telling the news,
Right.
We were trying to think of like something that was a quick way to make cash and would show it get overturned easy. easiest on television. That turned into actually do something we wanted
Yeah,
to
totally.
do.
So Mike actually came up with the idea of, like, what about like a body snatcher type film filled with puppets? I'm like, and then I point at him and I like squint my eyes and I walk away and I write a dozen pages and I send it to Scott to see what he thinks. He throws his magic on it, and in a day we had the
just
puppet
shifted back and
apocalypse.
forth. We
so
basically
good,
wrote it
which
the
is-
way we wrote
yeah.
the first book, which was like over like
Back and
emails
forth.
and back and forth.
And
like,
it basically, it's a film where it's The Walking Dead meets District 9 puppets. And
it's played.
feel free.
It's played.
Now I came here to be
yes.
punished today because I'm still ashamed of this idea. So
We literally
That's fucking beautiful. Like, this
Our
is-
cinematographer Jenna, we had finished the edit. Me and her had finished the edit of it, and we're sitting around and we're just like, all right, so that's what it is from beginning to end. And it's like people are gonna look at this and be like, people who made this were all over 30 years of age.
yeah,
It's not taking far jokes. It's not sophomoric. It's just ridiculously odd
It's-
and
yeah.
uncomfortable
Yeah, I'm
for a good
uncomfortable with it.
15 minutes. 'Cause it's not haha, it's funny, it's puppets. It's played serious.
with puppets.
When we met, this first we got the whole
Yeah.
cast together and
It's a
then
short
the crew, and we all met up. Brad and Diana, we were like everyone around with scripts, and all I just kept saying was, I was like, I don't care what you think, what you do this entire movie, the only thing I want you to hold fast on is that whenever you see a puppet, it's the scariest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. So the idea was not to go over the top with it. So it's literally like
play it straight.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I mean, like, do you guys remember the show Alien Nation?
Yeah.
I like to think of it as like if Alien Nation was a show with puppets instead of aliens.
Yeah.
You know, because like, that's totally a setup where there could be a buddy cop thing happening in
Yeah, totally.
the next
It could be a buddy
installment.
cop.
I hope you guys start the wave of puppet remakes.
Well, we were lucky.
Building puppets sucks, by the way. Anyone out there?
I mean,
who wants to-
that's what I wanted to ask you. Did you just get like blocks of foam and start to carve, or
Scott is amazing, honestly. Seriously, like he's a guy who never.
did you get old laundry?
Did you make a puppet out of Socko?
I can make puppet at anybody.
And
I just hate
Jason Mewes.
I just hate doing them because I'm covered in like hot glue burns and
You should do a puppet of yourself covered in hot glue burns.
No, they're a pain in the ass to make, and basically, I went to design school, which really hasn't helped much with anything in my life. I mean, I think it's made our comic books a little bit better, you know, because like I understand concept and shape and tension and all that stuff. You know?
There you go, Joe Shack, going to fucking medieval.
Well, I got a man. I got a
But
what was the coolest thing about it? Was we got.
I wasn't done with my part.
Oh, go right ahead.
I didn't know
The other guys talking to me.
Well, I don't even know what I was saying now.
Okay.
Whatever, just
Oh, you making puppets.
We got glue burns.
hot glue burns.
Well, we got Scott
I made a
Giammo
movie.
here.
Yeah.
From Clerks. We got one of our favorite
Very
people
cool.
all time from Clerks. Scott Giammo from the Shuli's Gum Rep.
Cancer Merchant.
One of the Cancer Merchant. He's the star of the film.
Very
and
cool.
He's in it, and it's.
And a personal best friend.
And yes,
Which
he's
is
a really
amazingly
close.
weird, strange thing
Totally
about
weird.
You know, like you're like an 18-year-old douchebag watching Clerks. You know what I'm saying? And then you find
Reciting
yourself,
those
like
lines.
16, 17 years later, I'm sitting on Central Park lawn.
You guys give me
with
high
watching Clerks with him.
Yeah.
Like very strange.
If he ever smoked a cigarette, I think that would be one of the funniest things
He
I've
doesn't.
ever
No, he doesn't.
No, and he doesn't.
Of course not.
He's
But
complete. He put out a great book that we actually we both worked on. He did some work with the text and stuff like that. I designed the entire book, and it's all about what a gigantic alcoholic and drug addict that he used to be and stuff like that.
Yeah, he went through some rough times, but he wrote like this poetry and prose that reflected that time, and it's an amazing book.
Yeah.
And we're happy to say that.
Vicious Dogs Attack Me and Sleepless Nights of Summer.
Yeah.
hey, he's good in.
He is absolutely good. He's
Awesome.
8 years clean and sober. He's actually going to not deserve about this season.
Nah, we can keep it on the way up.
Well, look for him soon on a TV show.
Something.
But yeah, so it was amazing to have him as a friend. But then, like when we first watched the film together, me and Scott, I looked at Scott like, "What did we do to this man? This man, we made him turn into a puppet. Like this is a film
Here's the thing.
that we love, and we
He's-
embarrassed. What do we do? Like we were ashamed of ourselves."
he was so amazing the entire time. I mean, because we crafted this friendship beforehand, and you know, I was working on this book with him and stuff like this, and I was just like, all right, as long as you're my movie, I got no problems with you. You know, like that's sort of the way it all went. But he's an amazingly gifted and talented guy who we put through the ringer.
Yeah.
You know, like, and what's funny is that he's completely like out of bed in the morning. That's his character. So like he's pretty much in pajamas. He's got bed hair. I mean, there's nothing glamorous about what he did, and a lot of actors would have been probably, you know, like he's sitting in a. I mean, we sat him in a chair for an hour and a half to 2 hours every morning to make him look like garbage.
Yeah.
You know, and he was really cool about it. So.
And he was making another film at the same time, and it was because we weren't done with the shooting schedule for this movie. I should have some kind of organize how
it took
went.
so long
It was
because
crazy.
everyone had working schedules.
But he couldn't, like, you know, he had to like cut his hair for another film or something. I was like, oh yeah. So like he was a total trooper.
He was, and we made him eat, I think, an entire box of cereal over the course of about 3 hours.
Right.
Which is, and he's lactose intolerant.
He was always lactate.
Yeah, we didn't plan ahead for lactate. It wasn't in the
Lactate,
budget.
well, I was just gonna say lactate wasn't in the fucking budget.
Exactly.
It's 49 cents more.
Ridiculous. It was pretty much us just basically saying we need enough money to feed people in the afternoon. Nobody passed out. It was like we shot in the middle of like July, and it was like heat wave after heat wave. I'm surprised nobody died.
Okay, so one of the segments we have on the show is Secret Origins, and it's just 2 questions for each of you to answer. One, how did you first start reading comic books? And what were the events that brought you to comic book jokes?
So who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first.
Go, Chris.
My first.
You look good, Chris.
Thank you. I'm gonna move to the next. No. First experience with comic books, or reading comic books. My first actual experience with comic books was the wrong reason. You guys do not know this. So I used to be a big collector of baseball cards and Marvel cards, Operation Desert Storm cards.
Those are the best. I have a top mark with card. It's a bookmark.
And I have a bunch of comic books that are still at my mom's house. Every time I go there, she knows I'm going to take them. I never read them. I have them because it was for value.
Right.
It's okay.
No, it's not right.
It's a sign of the times. It's
No,
okay.
it wasn't. There's hundreds of them that I never read, and it's a shame.
You go back. You never know.
And you know what? I'm sure they're, they're probably somewhere around the value's somewhere around cover price right now, right?
Well, that's the point.
You never know.
Here's the thing that I tell a lot of people who are into like sports cards and then started collecting comics for the value. Did you actually read the back of your sports cards?
Of course.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no.
I did.
That's a really good point.
But I
though.
really,
Oh, yeah.
But there's comics that I have that I bought. Like,
You look at the
Boards.
great Jeffries rookies.
You have like the Topps Dracula #1 with the Topps baseball Dracula card in it in the poly bag.
Yeah, it's not.
It wasn't a baseball card.
No, it's a Topps Dracula.
Like Dracula, center field.
For the Montreal Expos.
Exactly.
17 strikeouts.
You didn't see my license. I totally have that.
The center fielder with 17 strikeouts. Everybody.
Plastic still.
Yeah.
In the plastic still. But when I actually started reading them was probably around, I guess, less than 10 years ago. And over that time, I made sure I read Johnny Homicide, Preacher, Why the Last Man. I just finished a hardcover book of Walking Dead on Saturday.
Beautiful.
Fucking crazy.
Which was the first volume or?
I'm not sure because I wait until they come into the hardcovers.
Oh, did you just get the newest one, 9?
9, yes.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's about to get. Wait till
Oh,
next
don't
year.
tell
when
me,
you
don't
get,
tell me.
no, I'm gonna say is wait till next year
Uh-huh.
when 10 comes out.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna shit a brick.
Yeah.
That's what I did over
Because
the weekend.
Issues get better and better.
issue by issue, me, Socko, and Babyface have been getting antsy for the next storyline.
You're gonna
Tiger
need a
G's a fucking
colonoscopy
catch up.
like 4 years early.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Ed honestly doesn't know what he's fucking missing.
He doesn't know what Walking Dead is.
No, he knows what Walking Dead is. It's on TV.
And I just finished actually on the ferry today. Sandman, Dream Hunters. So
Cool.
I finished all the Sandman. Good stuff. So it's sad in a way because it's a lot of stuff that I've missed over the years, and there's so much more that's out there.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you at the end of next month there's a new Sandman series.
Oh, I heard that. Is it a prequel?
Yeah,
yes,
it is.
Yeah, it's over.
It's Williams and Gaiman.
Awesome. And now how I came to Malcolm Jones, I actually used to hang out at the Cargo that day, which is that 120 day. whatever that was
Little Sunny Bay Cafe.
where I met Sal and Brian Quinn and all those guys, and one of the patrons there was Socko.
Yeah.
So-
Mutual friend of Sal.
Yeah.
Brian.
So, I don't remember when, but I had mentioned to Socko about my book, and he says, "Oh yeah, absolutely, come bring it down to the shop, we'll sell it." It's nice thing. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. No, you guys can And you, Scott?
What was the question again?
How do you start getting into comics? And I think the events Chris pretty much covered.
Yeah, pretty much. How to get into comics? I couldn't even answer that. I mean, there'd be different days. I will say, when I was younger, I didn't really understand comics too much because I was like 6, 7 years old, I guess.
And you couldn't read.
I couldn't really read very well. But I would pretty much pick them up to draw them.
Yeah.
You know, and then that just sort of snowballed. And like for a good 10 years of my life, I didn't even read comics. I just sort of copied the art. Like actually verbatim for a while. And it's funny, is like now you look at the artwork that we do in the books that we do, and it's nothing like other comic
Yeah.
art too. I guess I just sort of got that out of the system. But I would have to say, my first like memory of comics has to be even at Laudando, when they opened that there was a shop that was open at Laudando High School for 3 years, 2 years.
It was a comic shop in the high school?
It was like right outside of Laudando High School.
Oh.
So like one of the
Wait, was it by like Amboy?
Yeah,
Amboy
like
Huguenot?
yeah, it was like
Yeah.
with the pizza place
Yeah.
and stuff like that. My friend used to work there. Like, you know, like 3, 4 times a week. We used to just hang out there all the time. That's the first time I actually remember comics actually becoming a part of my life. They were always just something I was sort of drawn from. And then when it came to like writing and stuff, like my inspirations were pretty cinematic. You know, and then not until I got older that I actually really started appreciating like writing for comics and just like actually have different ideas and writing pretty much everything.
Right.
So, yeah. And then I came here.
Now, what books are you reading right now that you're excited about? Other than Walking Dead.
Honestly, with me, I'm not. We're doing this book Wish right now, so I'm like pretty much.
He's excited about Wish?
Yeah, I'm not. I literally don't let myself look at other material or stuff like that. I try to stay pretty clean. So
Well, you're not alone there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of creators that we know that are the same way. They try to stay away from.
Yeah, because I don't want to wipe drawing something that somebody else is drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, everything in your day pretty much gets spilled out on the page. So I try to just pretty much stay away from anything like that's going to really push me in a certain direction. You know, I'll watch like movies and stuff, and like listen to music that's sort of stylized to what I want, and this is close to my time.
Yeah.
Even that stuff I sort of.
Do you listen to music while you're working?
It's 50-50. Sometimes I watch a shitload of documentaries, and then on top of watching a shitload of documentaries, I do listen to a lot.
But like you'll have a documentary on while you're working, while you're at the drawing table.
I'm doing like 3 or 4 things at a time.
Yeah.
That's the way I've always been. Like with this book, I mean, like.
Christian said that's why it took so long.
Yeah, listen, someone else do 85 pages and get the whole book to print in less than a year. Yeah, I don't know. What was I gonna say? So I'm sorry, I'm fried. I've been like staring at these white pages for days now. It's just nice to see people.
And I'm not reading anything. I literally finished the last couple of pages of Saturday. 300
Have you read Saga yet?
No.
Then you're doing yourself a disservice as a Wild West Man fan.
Okay.
It's the best book of the last 2 years.
Brian K. Barley
It's-
writing.
It's a one-off?
No, it's up to volume 2 right now.
I actually gave it to my sister for her birthday tonight, so there you go.
It's been a constant present for anybody I feel would enjoy a good comic.
You have it first?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
All right, we'll pick it up on my
It's a good idea.
I've heard Saga be described as the Breaking Bad of comics.
I wouldn't say that.
No, but it's the one everyone's talking about. Like if you ask what TV show you're into, what comics you're reading, everyone says Saga.
I mean, Saga pretty much from issue 1
Has grabbed me.
right away. Brian came on doing an ongoing that has no end in sight. Yeah, I'm Fiona Staples.
The end in sight is he wants to write one issue longer than Walking Dead.
Right.
has.
Yeah. He said that at the panel last year at New York Comic Con. People asked him, how long do you want to go with Saga? He said, yeah, I want to go one longer than Robert goes with Walking Dead.
How did somebody say that?
No, not to outdo him.
Yeah.
That's just to show how much story he has.
Oh, okay.
Because in the first issue, he wrote this whole spiel about
Well,
how
what he
this
said
has been his
also-
since he was a teenager.
But what he said also was he knows how it ends.
Yeah.
He knows the ending.
The,
It's
the,
just there's a ton of shit in between.
the end of the first trade, when you finish the first trade, he wrote the ending to go one of two ways. That he could have wrote the last 3 or 4 pages differently if the book was tanking and it needed to get canceled, or the way it was written because it's doing very well and it's going to keep going.
Right.
He wrote everyone something bad happening at the end of the first trade, just in case it was like, my book's not selling, I'm just going to go away.
Yeah.
Okay, you got 7 issues out of me. Happy day, everybody.
It's good shit.
Yeah,
Super good shit.
it's just awesome, issue by issue. There was a how many month hiatus every year now? 2, 3 months?
Something like
The last one was a 4-month.
Yeah, this was a 4-month hiatus, and I picked up the last issue when I knew exactly where we were standing in the story,
Yeah.
which is really hard to do after 4 or 5 months of not
But
reading
yeah,
the comic.
but that's the thing. I mean, that's a testament to a great book is that you don't forget.
You just keep walking. You
You
just
know,
keep running.
it's not even if you have bad reading comprehension. A good story is a good fucking story.
Exactly.
Well, that's like what with me with Walking Dead. Like hardcover book 9 just came out.
What that once a year?
I read, yeah, I was going to look at the last few pages of hardcover book 8, but I didn't have to because like I was just waiting.
Yeah.
It's just that good of a writer.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before on the podcast. That's the one book that I read in alphabetical order, but that Saga and that Saga.
Yeah,
Were you
I read out
surprised
of order.
were you surprised to get as big as it got?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Like, then they just announced to do like a
spin-off
Spin-off
show.
show.
That I never saw coming. So no, when I
No,
was,
that I didn't see coming either.
That
Yeah.
makes sense to me because now no one can compare it to the comic.
yeah.
It's going to be Walking Dead: The Next Generation.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing with
It's
the
what we
Walking
know.
Dead, it's something that I think for the first time with a book and a film and a TV show, it's for me it was the first thing that you could accept completely 2 different
Yes.
awesome things, like and be okay.
That's why Rob's a genius.
Yeah.
That was his idea from the start. Is I don't want people to go. Oh, I can't read the books now because I'm up to date on the show.
There's
But you
people that
can't-
are on the show that
that
are
are
in the books.
But I mean, there's so many people that know of Kirkman now because of the TV show, know of The Walking Dead, but still have no idea about the rest of his brilliant fucking body of work. The fucking Battle Pope,
Ant-Man, his run on Ant-Man Invincible.
Invincible is the best superhero comic ever written.
And gonna be a movie.
Marvel's
He's
Edgar
he's plotting that. He's not writing it, but he's still a great.
Super Dinosaur's been
It's
really
his
fun.
creation though.
Astounding Wolfman.
Astounding Wolfman from issue 1.
Astounding Wolfman's fantastic.
Astounding
Super
Wolfman
Dinosaur.
was the first book Astounding Wolfman is the first book to have his #1 issue given away for free. And then #2 come out as a normal monthly series. And then #1 is like second printing kind of come out just in
Yeah.
case you missed for comic day.
I've had conversations with people where they're like, well, yeah, but Astounding Wolfman, it's like, well, wait a second. Honestly, if you fucking throw out Walking Dead, you throw out Invincible, and this series, Astounding Wolfman, came out and you started reading it, it's like saying, you know, well, which World Series win was the best for the Yankees? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Tiger's answer's 96.
oh, that's because he was a baby then, and that's the first one he remembers. But you know, but that's exactly what it is, man. Like, a lot of the shit he puts out, almost everything, even Haunt.
Haunt was awesome.
Haunt
The
was
beginning
awesome.
of Bond was awesome.
He was writing it.
Even through the vibe of McFarlane's but Spider-Man, Spawn, oof, together, and then you start reading the first issue, you're like, no, never mind.
Yeah.
Just looking at the characters just went out the door. That and Capullo, but anything Capullo touches usually turns out beautiful.
Yeah. So I mean, do you have a favorite artist? Do you have a favorite writer? I mean, it doesn't have to be comics. Just general.
I do.
You gotta lean in, brother.
Sorry.
We're not
Yeah,
gonna read it all.
comic book artist. What's funny is I like Steranko a lot.
Yeah.
Shield stuff. And if you look at
Yes.
Constellation Park, you can see a lot.
Sir, Mr. Ranko, come on!
Yeah! Escape us!
But so yeah, he's fantastic. He's sort of definitely shaped me growing up. What's funny is I wasn't really into Disney growing up. I was into like sort of John Woo and Space Ace.
Yeah. Oh,
stuff like
absolutely.
that. So that was definitely a very big thing. So my character design sort of went that way. And then writers, it's always been, I mean, book-wise, it's going to be people like Vonnegut for me. Love Kurt, you know, yeah, you can't go wrong. I mean, Ray Bradbury, oh my God. Just old standards. I mean, and comic books, you know.
Dead-Eye Dick is absolutely one of my
Dead-Eye
favorite
Dick is
books of
fantastic.
all fucking time.
I just started rereading the Fahrenheit 451 like graphic novel, like the
Oh, yeah,
adaptation, because it's something that I really, really wish I would read, and I just want to see because the art fits the story so well. I'll show you afterwards. It's perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Rick Bever. The series we're working on right now, actually, one of the few things I keep in the back of my head is the
Wish.
Yes, Wish is something wicked this way comes. Like I just want, we're trying to get the feel of that, like some color and stuff.
Scott, that's scary.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's scary.
Okay.
So now, do you guys have websites, Twitters, anything you want to plug?
I guess we don't have a website yet, but we have Facebook.
I'm lazy.
Yeah. We
On lazy.com.
We got Constellation Park Facebook page. We got the Puppet Apocalypse Facebook page, and then there's our.
There may be a Wish page and
It might be a Wish page.
Right now we're working under the sham of a title, Scott and Chris Comics.
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
We didn't know what to call ourselves. We put on Constellation Park, everything snowballed. So there should be a Scott and Chris Comics site coming up soon.
So is there a Constellation Park website or
Facebook.
Twitter, Facebook?
Facebook is 10 times more successful than anything else we're going to put up right now. So we just might as well go with the social media aspect of it. So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
And you can
We
stay
stay
close
close.
to us.
Yeah, we get to stay close with fans and stuff too. Which is pretty awesome.
And how do you guys feel about Kickstarter? I mean, a
We
lot
used
of
it.
creators are having a lot of success with it.
Yeah, we use it for Puppet Apocalypse.
Oh, okay, cool. And did you reach your goal quickly, or?
We did, but it was
We undersold.
I made
So
it.
hot.
I made the. It was a couple of $1,000 when it really came out of my pocket. That's why I got a title, executive producer. Money man.
If you ever want money for a movie or any project, just talk to Tiger.
Oh, but I set it at a very low.
Because we didn't think anybody, we didn't think
When we said
anyone was going to
puppets,
pay any
who the hell's
attention
gonna
to
think
it.
anything about
And then it really just snowballed into like the most talented people in this island just volunteering their time and then getting shot while volunteering and stuff. Like what's funny is the services that people gave.
Yeah.
We didn't pay really
Yeah.
for anything.
Oh yeah, we got
awesome.
this guy I went to high school, Patrick Serace. He lives out in LA. Hadn't seen him since senior year of high school, which that was like 1995. And he is a 3D animator. He worked for Spielberg. He worked for Disney, and he's like, "Yo, you want special effects done?" I'm like, "Oh man, slow down." He worked for Spielberg.
We literally thought it was
He's like,
gonna be-
"Dude, it's cool." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So all these special effects with like a zap.
And you could
from an
expect
alien
that we
puppet,
sat down
spaceships. He did nothing.
to make this movie. We're just like, it's just gonna be us two douchebags in a room
Like
with a
throwing a
camcorder.
flying knife from outer space.
We didn't know what it was gonna be. We're just like, yeah, because that's how every project we do starts. It's always just like, yeah, we could do this. Yeah, we could do that, right? Yeah, and then we just keep going with it. And then, now we have a movie with puppets.
People have been very supportive with everything that we've done, from our friends to like the USQ people and the comic book man guys, and to total strangers that donated money and maybe heard us on the podcast or whatever, around we're buying the books, people taking pictures of the cover in like New Zealand saying, "Hey, remember we're in the States, you gotta sign it." I mean, that's crazy.
Sure, it's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And we're really grateful for it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.